Hi, my name is Sydney, and this is my 2011 Chevy short bus named Casita, which means small house in Spanish. My boyfriend Gabe and I are building it into a fully off-grid capable camper conversion. In this video, you will see our process of removing the existing bus wiring as well as how we diagnosed our no-start issue. This is a whole wiring harness that I pulled apart. A wiring harness is like split loom here, so this is just a small example. The larger examples are like this. So it's called split loom because it is split and it's made to do that so you can run wires through it. I pulled this all these wires out. Before we tore all the walls and the ceilings out, you have to kind of detach all the speakers and the lights and other good stuff. And if you're lucky, you'll have these little attachments and it makes it super easy, but make sure as you go, you're labeling things. So whether it's a light or a speaker or an alarm system, child check switches back there, make sure you're labeling those. As you go, you can trace back the wires through the split loom into the main fuse panel. Just pluck it out of the fuse panel. These are lights, cabin lights. Obviously won't be using them, so I'm taking them out. Although, this is the speaker cord. There were like cabin speakers in here, so I'm gonna keep these around. Maybe that'd be kind of cool to have a little sound system in here. Basically, what I'm doing right now, taking this stupid electrical tape off of the split loom. So, like I said, this is called split loom. It's just wire harnessing that's split so you can run the wires through it, and it just provides some protection from chafing. Chafing's kind of a big deal in vehicles. Over time, if you have wires that are resting on like a piece of metal or even resting on each other, over time they can wear off the insulation around the wire, and you can have electrical problems like fires and fun stuff like that. I think I'm gonna keep some of this split loom because it's totally fine and I'm gonna need some. Same with these little brackets. I think I'm gonna keep those too because they're pretty nice. So I'll show you really quick where these wires were at. We are at the little cubby that kind of sits over the driver's compartment over the chassis. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a massive cubby, like probably a good foot, 14 inches back, and it spans the whole front part of the bus. So these wires are running through here. We're gonna take all of it out, and I think we're gonna make that like one giant storage compartment. So that'll be super nice. We're kind of lucky to have a small bus with so much room. This bus was from Minnesota, so it has quite a bit of water and rust damage, but what really drew us to this vehicle was the size. It's a really small bus. It's a 14 passenger short bus. It's 4 windows, and usually those buses are pretty narrow and pretty short, like 5'10" to 6 foot ceilings and a pretty narrow interior, but ours is like 6'5" ceilings 7¼ foot interior, so wall to wall. We're working with a lot of room. Sorry, I'm terrible at videoing this. So yeah, like that was what really drew us to this bus. The rust can be dealt with. We have unfortunately found a couple places in, not the chassis frame, but the bus body frame. We found a couple places where the rust has eaten through the steel. Just because it's thinner steel, it's not really built as hefty as the chassis steel. Okay. I think we're almost there. Oh yeah, also the next thing I'm gonna take out is this mechanical door opener. It's nice, but I would like to have this space for storage, and we really don't want to have this door because of safety reasons. Like, they're not super safe, they're not super insulated. We're gonna take it out. I don't know what kind of door we're gonna use yet. We're just gonna put in a regular house door with a doorknob and a lock, or if we're gonna somehow fix these two windows together, because it's nice to be able to see out this door when you're driving, because there really isn't like a driver's side or a passenger side window. Sorry, I am terrible at focusing on what I'm doing. Another thing that's kind of unique about this bus, that kind of caught us off guard, is when you look at it from the outside, it looks like a regular steel and aluminum framed school bus. But it took us taking the panels out to realize it's not steel and aluminum frame. This is fiberglass. The ceiling behind this wood is fiberglass. That back wall, fiberglass. The floors, a subfloor that lays over normally what would be a steel pan, but no, it's plywood. The floors are entirely plywood. So I guess that was kind of a bummer to find out, because like the structural integrity of fiberglass is obviously not super ideal for what we're going to use this bus for, but there's ways around it. People build out shuttle buses all the time. It's like a perfect mix between a school bus and a shuttle bus. I think that's about as far up as I'm gonna go before I just start clipping wires that I don't need. There you have it. These are the front, or what were the front lights, so add it to the pile. So this guy is pretty easy. You see these clips, you just kind of pinch them and pull them out. So same with kind of everything. the best way to do this. Oh my gosh. This door mechanism is actually really nice. There's no damage to it at all whatsoever. I wonder if I could sell it. You guys even see what I'm doing? See how he's grounded into the chassis? These self-fixing metal screws are kind of a bitch. Now I think we'll come out here in one unit. Okay. So now we got the door wiring. So tying into that system is the step light, which I'll replace, but I'm gonna keep that wiring. It goes down through the hole right down to the floor. So today's objective is gonna be disengaging this guy. And if you hear that, this part might have to be a voiceover. So I think that both of these buttons have to be pressed in to complete the circuit. One of these buttons went to the slide lock here to push the button in. And then one of these goes to the main bus door lock. So when this is pushed in and shut, it engages this lock. Okay, so both buttons are engaged. So let's see if the bus will start for us. Maybe slip this one off. Nope. Bus won't start. From all the research I had done prior to attempting this, the micro switch disconnected essentially A from B, given that A and B being connected would give power to the starter. Most of the videos I saw disconnected the micro switches and basically through trial and error found A to connect to B, and then bus started right up. You reduce the wires up to the main fuse panel, and then you make the connection up there and eliminate those wires. That didn't happen with me. I broke the circuit somewhere, and unfortunately this bus and the way that it's wired is not anything like you would see in a traditional Thomas or International build bus. It's essentially a shuttle bus, and shuttle buses are all different. That's just the little update for where we are right now. We solved the no start mystery. I'm just coming on here to kind of explain our process of narrowing this problem down, because it was quite the process. I feel like a lot of it was situational, because when I tell you what the problem was, you're gonna ask, why didn't you check that in the first place? Backtracking a little bit, so the bus was in the shop from November to March, so it was sitting in a lot basically waiting for parts for like 4 months and wasn't being properly ran. So when we came to pick the bus up, we had to jump start it because the battery was dead. Totally makes sense. The battery was probably old, and we were just like, well, we just have to buy a new battery because it wasn't keeping a charge, yada yada yada. We jump started it, we got it home, whatever. So we get the bus home. Sure enough, battery's not holding a charge. While I'm waiting on a new battery, take it as a perfect opportunity to tackle some of the wire harnessing in here. While I'm doing that, I have to detach so there's two systems that I'm going to talk about here. There is a child checkmate alarm system, and then there are two micro switch buttons in the back of the bus that both have to be pressed in order for the starter to get power and the bus to be able to run. Both of these buttons run on the same circuit. The child check safety switch, I believed ran on its own circuit, so I didn't think it would have a starter interrupt. No wires were taken out of the main fuse panel. Everything was still intact. At this point, the bus has a no start issue. When you turn the key into the ignition in a normal circuit, that brings power to the starter solenoid, which kicks the starter motor and starts the engine. So when you turn the key into the start position, nothing happened. You didn't hear it click, you didn't hear anything happening, so I'm like, great. I now have a no start issue. Classic bus build problem. When you nick a circuit somewhere, the starter doesn't get power, and then you're screwed. You gotta go through and find out where you messed up, and I'm no electrician. I requested the schematics from this bus manufacturer, and then I spent many hours learning how to read schematics and learning how to fix circuits. And I swear to you, there's not a single wire in this bus that I myself haven't identified and traced. I spent all of my free time sitting over my notes and studying the schematics. I had to order an owner's manual and a repair manual for this chassis, and I was so stumped because I located the wires that, of course, would close the circuit, because the buttons, all they do is close the circuit when you push them. Nothing happens. So I'm like, okay, I don't know where in the bus fuse panel that I've messed something up. So I retraced the wires going to and from the starter relay, and I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna connect these two wires because they completely bypass the whole system that's in this bus, and they just only connect the circuit to the starter relay. Nothing happened, and I was so defeated in this moment because the circuit is closed. According to the schematics, according to the manual, according to the starter relay and how it works and how it relays power to the solenoid, the circuit is closed. So why won't it start? You know what? Screw it. We're gonna bypass the whole system, and we're gonna run the starter off of a push to start. The bus would no longer start on the key. It would just be a button that you push and it brings power to the starter, and then you let go when the motor kicks on. I've seen it done, so I'm just like, you know what, whatever, screw it, I don't know what I did. We tore the whole dash out of the bus. It looks absolutely crazy right now. And we ran a wire down through the engine bay to the starter, try to bring power to the starter. Nothing's happening. So then that's when it clicks. We're like, okay, it's the starter. But it didn't make sense that it was the starter because of the battery problem, and then that exact day and time I was pulling the wire harnessings apart, that it made sense that it was anything but the starter. But of course, hindsight's always 20/20, and I should have checked that we were having power to the actual starter, because if we were having power to the starter solenoid, then I would have known that it was the starter that was the problem child. So we went and ran to O'Reilly's, we bought a starter, installed it. Motherfucker started right up. It's been almost 3 weeks of troubleshooting and tearing this bus all the way apart. So the bus has a brand new starter, it has a brand new battery, and runs great. So that's where we're at right now, guys. This has been a really big annoying hiccup in the demo journey because I feel like so much time has been wasted, but then again, a lot of knowledge has been gained. I'm ready to tackle the next project and not think about the wiring for a while. This is the old starter, and as you'll see, This is, hi Bean. This is the part of the starter motor that plugs into the engine and starts the engine. As you can see, it's completely seized up. Okay, now that I've removed all of these wires, my bulk is down to this. Let's see if the bus will start. Yeah, baby. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Casita Bus Adventures. If you enjoy content like this, subscribe to this channel. And remember, if I can do this, you can do this too.